Thank you for tuning into our podcast, Canal Days, What Life is Like in the Industrial Connecticut River Valley of Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining us today is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Como. He personally offers and leads public and private tours, as well as presentations of historical sites within communities throughout the state of Massachusetts. Currently, the communities he has chosen to focus on this year are Holyoke, Chicopee, South Hadley, and Easthampton, and also Granby and Amherst as well. His tours spotlight the local canals, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks, streets, and selected historical houses within each community. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the Easthampton Historical Society, located in Easthampton, Massachusetts. So, what are the goals of the Easthampton Historical Society?
Well, whatever they are, they're doing a good job. I know that because I was invited there and I visited for a couple hours, and it's a wonderful place. So we'll talk about the goals today, where it's located, and what's inside and outside, of course, and then what the future might hold for the society. Like all historical societies, they struggle at times getting members. So one of their goals is to get more members. But of course, the goal is to try to build up a collection which will memorialize or honor Easthampton in all different features, through pictures, artwork, through furniture, through implements that were used in Easthampton, through items that represent the schools, the churches, the factories that they had, and they do a good job in that. And the goal of increasing more members should happen in my point of view, but I hear they're having troubles getting more members. So if you want to join, you're serious about history, please think about joining into this Easthampton Historical Society.
And where is the society located?
It's right in Easthampton on Holyoke Street, a little bit out of the downtown area itself, very close to a Lutheran church. It's inside of a house, a Victorian house, pre-Victorian house actually, because it's from 1830. And that house was donated to the Easthampton Historical Society by one of its former members, who put it into her will that when she died, the society could have her house to act like a place to meet and a repository, an archive, and a museum for the people of Easthampton. And thus, it's well taken care of both inside and outside. The outside has many plaques and a few implements. It has one plaque to a George LePun, a Vietnam veteran who helped greatly get the Historical Society together. And then there is outside a big granite block, probably with a cornerstone at one location. And the building is joined together. The room where they have their meetings is an addition which joins the house up to the garage and to a shed. So everything's available to the person inside without having to go outside. And that's wonderful. And I hear they have a sufficient amount of finances to keep it going 52 weeks out of the year. And they meet, or they have visitors on Sundays and Mondays, I believe, noontime to 4.
And quickly, before we continue with our interview, just to fill our listeners in, for more information or to sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there you can find videos and podcasts of the stops along each of his tours, as well as photos and text of the historical sites throughout as well. And for private tours and other inquiries, you can email him directly at bobcat4214, And his tours make for fun, educational, outdoor activities for families and group parties. So getting back to our interview, what is inside the Easthampton Historical Society?
There's a lot of archives, and so they have a lot of documents, and they're well organized. So if you want to do research on Easthampton topics, almost any topic they have inside here, they'll have a lot of material. They also have pictures, photographs, artwork, postcards, and again, that's organized fairly well. Each room inside the building has a different theme to it. And so as you walk from one to the next, one room might be about the wars that Easthampton was involved in. Another room might be about sports that were practiced in Easthampton. Another room might be furniture that was used, say 150 years ago around Easthampton. Another room would be about the mills of Easthampton, some of their implements, some of their documents. And so inside you have so many places to walk around, look at. You might be overwhelmed. You probably also might want to join because you realize at that point that they need workers and they have a lot of materials that need to be organized still, so you might want to be involved. And so it's great to go, and I just mentioned the hours, and you might want to email them ahead of time to see if they're going to be around that day for sure. Otherwise, great place to visit and get involved with it.
And what might the future hold for the society?
That's what I worry about, because all historical societies around Massachusetts are having a membership problem. Not enough people are involved in history throughout the Commonwealth. And so thus, you have some interest on a very high level topics, but only a little bit of interest on these lower level topics. So you might get a lot of visitors to the Whalen Museum of New Bedford, or out to the Bunker Hill Monument, or out to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. But on a lower level, these historical societies have a lot of implements and documents that need to be taken care of, and they represent the low-level daily activities of people 200 years ago, and they should get more people involved, interest, even if it's interest for a day, or interest in terms of being a member here and just doing a little work. I mean, if you give 1 hour a month to such an organization, that would be greatly appreciated. And just by going on tours, go to presentations about historical events, you'll understand the past. And there's too many people around that are acting on present situations or are being involved in future situations that don't understand the past well enough. And that's very scary, because you have to understand the past in order to understand what you're going to do in the future very well. What worked in the past might help you in the future. What was happening in the past should be important, such as we should be saving more buildings. We should be saving more landscapes, our recreation areas. We should have more presentations about what communities were like. And I gave tours in around Easthampton. They said that we haven't had this kind of tour or presentation in my lifetime. And these were older people. And so how can you go 70 years without having this? So that's a scary thing. And to me, people should get involved even on the level that they have. You know, drop their electronics devices and get involved in the society. It's good for you as a person to be involved with more people, and it's good for the society. It's good for the whole community to have people being involved. So hopefully you can get involved, and thank you.
And thank you, Robert, for educating us in our tours and historical topics of your expertise. And we want to thank our sponsors. And then, of course, we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. And check out a large selection of our other podcasts on his website, as well as on SoundCloud.com. And be sure to stay up to date with new podcasts and videos posted daily. Thank you for joining us.